Demi Moore's life and career stand as a portrait of resilience shaped by hardship, ambition, and transformation. Long before Hollywood recognition, her path was defined by instability, early independence, and emotional scars that would later echo through her adult life. Yet she emerged as one of the most recognizable figures in film, known for performances that balanced vulnerability with strength. This narrative explores not just her rise in Hollywood, but the emotional terrain beneath it. It reflects on how survival, identity, and reinvention shaped her journey, leading her from a turbulent childhood into global fame and later self-reflection in adulthood. Early life and abandonment. Born in Roswell, New Mexico, Demi Moore entered a world marked by absence and uncertainty. Her biological father left before she was born, creating an early wound of abandonment that shaped her sense of belonging. Raised by a young mother struggling with instability and addiction, her childhood lacked consistency or safety. Frequent moves disrupted any sense of home, forcing her to adapt constantly. Poverty and emotional turbulence defined her early years. Even as a child, she learned to navigate fear and unpredictability. These experiences built resilience, but also deep emotional scars that would influence her relationships, choices, and identity throughout adulthood. Trauma and forced maturity. At around 12 years old, Demi experienced a defining traumatic night when her mother collapsed, forcing her into a caretaker role far beyond her age. Instead of retreating into fear, she acted under pressure, helping to stabilize the situation alongside adults. That moment ended any remaining sense of childhood innocence. From then on, nights carried vigilance rather than rest, and silence became a protective habit. Emotional safety disappeared, replaced by constant alertness. The experience taught her that survival depended on immediate action, not comfort, shaping her personality into one built around responsibility, endurance, and emotional self-containment. Betrayal and trust shattered. In her mid-teens, Demi faced a profound betrayal that she later revealed in her memoir, describing how her trust was exploited by someone closest to her. The experience was reduced to a transactional act, leaving her with lasting feelings of shame and confusion. What wounded her most was not only the event itself, but the emotional message it carried, that her safety and innocence could be exchanged for something trivial. This realization deeply affected her sense of worth and trust. The memory lingered for years, resurfacing in moments of vulnerability and shaping how she approached intimacy and personal boundaries. Early independence. By 16, Demi Moore left formal schooling and stepped into independence far earlier than most of her peers. Without financial or emotional support, she entered adulthood abruptly, taking on work wherever she could find it. Modeling, waitressing, and small jobs became her means of survival. The transition was harsh and unromantic, defined by uncertainty and exhaustion. She often faced difficult choices between basic needs, such as food and shelter. These years taught her resilience, but also reinforced a sense of isolation. Survival became her primary focus, shaping her discipline and determination to avoid dependency on unstable circumstances. Early marriage and illusions of escape. At 17, Demi entered a marriage with musician Freddie Moore, a decision influenced more by escape than romance. She later described it as an attempt to create stability and distance herself from her chaotic upbringing. However, emotional wounds cannot be resolved through external change alone. The relationship eventually collapsed after several years, leaving her with the understanding that marriage cannot serve as a substitute for healing. Though it marked an early chapter in adulthood, it also reinforced the lesson that unresolved pain follows you until it is consciously addressed. The experience became a turning point in her emotional awareness, breakthrough, and early fame. Her breakthrough arrived when she joined the cast of General Hospital, earning recognition among thousands of aspiring actors. The role provided her first real validation as a performer and introduced her to the possibilities of a professional acting career. While the success was significant, it also brought new pressures and insecurities. Fame did not resolve her internal struggles. Instead, it intensified them, exposing her to environments where excess and distraction were common. She began experimenting with substances, initially as a coping mechanism rather than rebellion, gradually slipping into dependency under the weight of expectation. Crisis and recovery. During the filming of St. Elmo's Fire, Demi reached a critical turning point in her life. Her behavior reflected increasing instability, prompting concern from those around her. A firm intervention required sobriety to continue working, creating a boundary she could not ignore. She entered treatment and began the difficult process of recovery. With support and accountability, she slowly rebuilt stability. This period marked her first serious confrontation with addiction and its consequences. It ultimately guided her toward discipline and self-awareness, reshaping how she approached both her personal life and her growing career in Hollywood. Fame, identity, and reinvention. Following recovery, Demi Moore became part of a defining wave of Hollywood youth, often labeled the Brat Pack. Though the label was debated, it positioned her within a cultural moment of rising visibility and ambition. She navigated growing fame while maintaining sobriety and rebuilding discipline. The attention brought opportunity but also scrutiny, forcing her to separate identity from public perception. Over time, she transitioned from vulnerable newcomer to established actress, capable of sustaining a long-term career. Her survival became both personal and professional as she learned to protect her boundaries within an intense industry. Strength, roles, and lasting legacy. As her career evolved, Demi Moore took on roles that defined her as a symbol of strength and emotional depth in Hollywood. Performances in films such as Ghost and G.I. Jane showcased both vulnerability and resilience, expanding her artistic identity. Yet behind the success remained ongoing personal struggles and reflection. Fame did not erase her past, but reframed it within a larger journey of growth. She continued balancing motherhood, career, and public expectation while confronting emotional challenges. Her life became one of continuous reinvention, shaped by both triumph and hardship across decades in the industry. Outro Demi Moore's life reflects a rare blend of vulnerability, endurance, and transformation. From a turbulent childhood marked by instability to global recognition as a Hollywood star, her journey illustrates the complexity behind fame. She faced challenges that tested her emotionally and physically, yet continued to evolve through each chapter of her life. Her story is not defined solely by success on screen, but by the strength required to confront personal pain and rebuild identity over time. Ultimately, her legacy lies in survival and reinvention, showing that resilience is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to move through it.